Hi everyone. Sorry, I just saw that I was on mute actually.
Hey, Nuno. Hey, man. Hey, good to hear your
You
voice.
you're lucky. You're lucky. I just reached home, so here is like 9 o'clock.
Hey, hey. There's
So
nothing better to do on a Friday at 9
yeah, I
than
told that to the wifey. I just told her like, yeah, I need to call the U.S. and she's like, oh, cool. New York. I said like, no. Austin.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool too. I said like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
yeah. Hey, it's a different kind of hip. It's not classy, but it's hip maybe.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Good enough.
yeah. Oh man. Well, good deal. Well, we've got a nod who's just joined as well. A nod. Do you want to try your hey man? Do you want to try your audio and see if it's going to go through this time?
Uh, yeah, hello. I'm audible.
It's coming through. Nice.
Uh,
Yeah.
Thank God it's right today.
Yeah. I'll if you keep your fingers crossed half the time, I'll keep my fingers crossed the other half, and then maybe you're
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Um, I'm gonna post. Oh, there's Garish. The meeting minutes in the chat. If you don't have access, please request it. If you do, please list your attendance. And while we work through those logistics, we're gonna give a couple of other people 2 more minutes. 2 people have sent their regrets. So let's see. We'll get that in there. Prem, Lumina. And I'm gonna share these while we wait for a minute. There we are. Okay. So Prem's at a conference, and I think Chaim just messaged as well. Where is he? Okay. All right. So Sako says he's coming. He's going to be 5 minutes late. Chaim boy, the guy just got back from vacation, so he's probably having to catch up on his inbox. It says regrets. He's now on vacation. Okay, and then Nuno is with us. And Nuno, by the way, if you're maybe in Slack, if you maybe want to message your like Gmail account or your Google account, we'll get you invited to some of the resources.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then afterwards. I will just put it because normally I use my normal email. I will send it to you also afterwards.
Okay.
And but here for the Hangouts, I have this Gmail phantom account, so I'm not really using it, kind of. So that's why.
Oh, got it. Okay, no problem. Okay, so we're about 5 after. Let's see here. So let's go back. Okay, very good. I think we've got everybody. Oh no, Sako's going to join in a few, but that's fine. So actually, Nuno's just in advance of Sako joining. Maybe so it's clearly Garish. You and Nuno have you met face to face?
We work together.
Multiple times.
We worked together. He thought that I was just an expert in something that I will show afterwards, but no, it happens that I know some other stuff.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
sorry, I will stop here the private joke. Anyway.
No.
So yeah, we met.
Oh, very good. And then, Nuno, if you haven't met Anad, Anad is Anad's heading into his fourth year computer science student in Jaipur, and so he's already Anad. We've already gotten a couple of your PRs merged, I think. So you're already well on his way. And then.
Nice.
And when Sako comes on, maybe we'll circle back to you and have you introduced to Anad and And so, I'm sorry, Anad and Sako.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Okay, going back. So there's a number of things that have happened since last Friday. Okay, one of those. So just a couple of general announcements. One is that we have a new community drive. So all of the prior community documents have a new location. If you don't have access to something, then just request it, because it's not by design that you don't have access. So Anad, hopefully you did get your invite to Google Drive, and now you can see all the docs.
Yeah, I did, and it's working.
It's working. Okay, very good. And then one of the things that one of the ways in which Anad got introduced to the community was through Google Summer of Code. So Meshery is a Google Summer of Code project, among others. But just for context.
Yeah, no problem. I think I saw it at some point in time in the Layer 5 website, so that's cool.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Maybe so. First topic. So outside, I think. I guess there's some things to talk about that can maybe considered general, but it doesn't necessarily matter. So one of those is trying to formalize a little bit on building and releasing of the project. So we're about in our fifth month now of Meshery having been formed as a project, and so relatively young, and trying to get all the infrastructure, the community roadmap and context, and all of these free infrastructure going has taken a little while, and so as part of that, we've been running quickly to try to provide value to the community. One of the things that we hadn't done well is outline the build and release cadence for the project, and begin to suggest how frequently those things are done, what type of versioning the project uses, and where the builds are and the build systems. And that's been done for some things in some areas, but not pervasively. And so this is an outline of that. I don't know that. I think what we're doing today is just probably a call for review for folks that have an opinion or suggestions on where to do things better. So the intention, I think, here is to facilitate releases through GitHub, where the project is hosted. And so you'd go to the Releases tab, you'd see the new releases as they come out. There would be a README associated, or release notes associated. And then we would follow semantic versioning, so something I think very familiar to everyone, which is sort of a major version, a minor version, and then patch releases or bug fix releases. So that patch version just being mostly that, like quality improvements or security patches. The minor version being incremental feature and functional additions. The major releases being large in scope, architectural shifts and changes, or the finalization of what we would consider kind of a complete feature theme. It's right now for the project, there's kind of two themes to the project, and they fall along the lines of performance benchmarking, for one, and then for the other one, a playground. Meshery has a capability to facilitate easy provisioning of service meshes, sample apps, and then the playing around with them and the understanding of them. So between those two feature themes, we're not done with either of those two just yet. But this is how the project is tracking thus far. So the link to this document is in our meeting minutes. You can see it's just a draft that was thrown together this week. So any feedback is good feedback. So please don't. Please jump in. Any initial questions or thoughts on the build and release strategy before we move on? Okay.
Hey everybody. Hi guys.
Hey Sako. Hey. All right. So with Sako with us. Sako, we've got. It seems in a very good way every week we've got at least one new individual here, and so Nuno is the winner this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So Nuno.
Unix. Oh, nice name.
Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. Sorry, actually, I have something that just pops out. Can I just make maybe just a demo quickly?
Oh yeah, sure.
So I have to go.
Yeah.
To go out. Sorry.
No, grab the ball. We'll or grab the
Yeah.
ball. It's a WebEx thing.
So, so let me see if I can quickly share my screen, which I can. Okay. Sorry, it will be the full screen.
Okay.
You might see yourself.
Okay.
It's fine. Share quickly. All right. So let me get this out of here. So okay. Let me just introduce myself quickly. So I'm working for a pharma company. I don't actually use anything that I'm be showing in my work. So it's more my free time and my offbeat time where I'm doing all this. So what I've started and what I saw with Girish during the KubeCon this year was that we could have a short or a smaller Kubernetes cluster. Sorry, I'm really closing everything. Okay. And with some software from Rancher, which is K3S, and there's a project called K3D that actually will create a K3S cluster. I could have given it. Actually, let me do that. We can set with workers. Okay, so I'll just put 3 workers just for the fun of it. And here, sorry, it's not copying correctly. I'm on the. I will get to. Okay, so now if I do a kubectl cluster info, then my cluster is running. Okay. By the way, I'm on WSL2, so K3S is working fine on WSL2. Now, back to Meshery. So thanks to that, I already installed Docker Compose. I told you, I think, during KubeCon that it was just a small part of the document. I might make a PR to the docs actually. That was just missing. When you show like Meshery, how to install it and then run it, we need Docker Compose actually. So if I do create, right? I'll start, sorry. So it will start Meshery now on Docker. So Docker is running directly on the Ubuntu WSL2 host. Okay. So now if I do a Docker PS, just like that, okay. So everything is running, and if I do a Meshery, status, we can see so everything is working, okay.
Nice.
So now, the tricky part is that due to WSL2 being in a VM, we don't have the luxury to go to local host anymore. So we need to have a nice IP management tool that Girish will recognize. That's the best one. And so
Actually, when you were sharing your screen, when I saw this, I first for a second took aback. I thought you were sharing some company secrets here.
oh no, no, no!
Um,
It's I made another database of IPs with the fabulous tool that we have. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so here I think I already have the IP. Yes, and then the port is 9006, I think. No, where it is 98.1. Okay, and if I go there, okay, it doesn't recognize this one. So let me go to the host. Sorry, it was just working, demo effect.
Sure. I may step out to sacrifice.
Yeah,
Here.
we'll just, oops. Let me quickly, oh, 85. That's why. Okay, so now should work better. Okay, here we go. So here we have Meshery. So I will just use the Twitter login in this case. And here we go. So Meshery is working fine. Now what I did, and again it was in no timer, right? So the installation is like Ubuntu on WSL2. Soon I'm using a custom kernel because of the IPs. Kernel modules that are not fully loaded, but it will be loaded soon. But you can do a custom kernel. Darren from Rancher did a post about that. It's quite easy also. Okay, quite easy. You can follow just what he wrote, and you will get your custom kernel working fine. K3s is working fine with this custom kernel, and therefore Meshery is also working fine. And what I did is like configure kernel. So here, just the second tricky part is like I will upload the config, but okay, here I'm already there. But if you look here, if you are in Windows, now this is the new path, WSL dollar, and then you go to your distro that needs to be running, and then you go to the path. Okay, so and here I have my kubeconfig YAML. I can submit it. It will still say local host, but I guess because we are running from the let's say the container itself, it will know that localhost is itself, so we are good to go. The adapters here, what I did, and that's what I asked you, is like I will take ISTO here, and I will take Linkerd. Actually, I'll take your demo that you did at some point in time.
Nice.
So we can add all them. Yes, no, console, no.
Come on, console.
You didn't like it, or? Alright, okay, my bad. And then finally, Grafana, this time around, I show it to Girish. It's totally feasible, actually. It's just that I didn't install the Grafana on Docker. So here you will put like your IP slash Grafana URL and the API key that it will give you. So here is like where I arrived right now. So I know that I can have Meshery run in quite, let's say, fast and easy way. And what I was asking to you is like, just tell me now, because I'm the service mesh expert here, but just tell me maybe what I could install on one of these to test the performance, and then try to run it.
The user experience is going to get a slight tweak here and needs a slight bit of improvement, but what wasn't obvious is if you go back to Playground, you'll see a different interface now. And it's going to give you the choice of interacting with any of the 3 service meshes that you want to interact with, and part of that interaction is the provisioning of one the service mesh, a sample app, and then there's different functionality depending upon which mesh you're interacting with.
Let's do that like live.
Yeah.
Why not?
No.
So I just installed, I guess, the canonical book somehow. So
Yeah.
I think it's like, oh no, okay.
Well, and what?
Oh, okay. So I guess, or all right. So I have a solution for that. Unfortunately, it will not be today, but I totally have a solution for that. The local host here, then it's not. It's from my computer, so it will not recognize it. So I can do something about it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I will blog it very soon, probably next week or so. But yeah, at least we can have like a playground working quite easily with K3S and Meshery then
Yeah, that's
on WSL2.
I'm not sure. Can we throw in another buzzword in there? We could do a yeah. Toss in SMI, then you'll have.
Okay. So HMI, exactly everything like bring all the cloud native that we can run it on WSL2. So that's cool.
It really is. Yeah.
Okay.
I know you got to go, and when you do play around, it may not be quite as obvious, but yeah, you'll, outside of installing like the book info app, you'll also click to install that specific service mesh itself, and so and then
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. So everything, the installation until even Grafana. So that's what I want to do is like until Grafana, I would like also to install it and show how we can do it. So next time, hopefully, I will be able to showcase that.
Nice. Okay. I'm pumped. I've got a couple of comments for you, like actually on Grafana, but I'll send them over the weekend.
Yeah, no problem. Slack or Twitter, like you did, and that will be nice.
Oh yeah.
Hope the demo was
Oh yeah.
good.
Nice work. Nice work. Next.
There's
Okay, thank you.
there's a couple things we
Feel
might.
free to ping me on Slack. If you're running into any issues, I'll be very happy to kind of have a session. And,
Yeah,
we can walk you through stuff.
Yeah, perfect. Let's do that. Like, I really, what I wanted, and that's nice that you showed me that I can go back and now install stuff because I wanted is like, there was this, I don't know, I think I had somewhere, like there was this performance testing by a company,
Kinvolk.
yeah, exactly. So I think with Meshery, we could have the same, right? Like the goal will be the same. So now because we have the three of them, okay, it's on WSL2, but we could have the three of them and run also against this canonical book, potentially run the performance and see also the performance that Meshery will bring out. So I think it's a good comparison, like the mentality. And then last bit will be like, I saw that a lot of, you have the interface, right, the SMI. So you're compliant with that. So there's a Octarine, I think, that they are building something for Meshery also. It will be like how to bring that and install it maybe. Like I think a blog post could be nice.
Oh, absolutely. I'm biting my tongue because you have to go. There are about 5 different things. No. But yeah, I'm super excited that this is. I'm gonna send you a bunch of follow up.
Yeah, please do, and I will answer at the best time. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, really have to go now.
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
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 Man, that's fantastic. It was awesome. I should have. I think it was understood, but I should have mentioned to Nuno, and he's going to watch this later, the fact that it's recorded.
Oh.
and I don't think that there were any company secrets there. If there are, I'm going to check with him, but I'm sure that there aren't. So, but yeah, how very cool. And actually, I'm sure he wasn't, other than WSL2, it wasn't his intention to have a bunch of buzzwords. It just so happened that actually there are quite a few that he's done in there. So, awesome. I took some notes as he went through. If you guys look at the meeting minutes, it seemed to me that there were a couple of things that might just be slightly different experience. I don't know that they're actual bugs. One of them, I think a different experience was the notion that there was, when you pulled up kubeconfig and it browsed the file system was a virtual file share, or well, what do you call it? Anyway, Windows-based file shared to a remote volume in WSL2. But I don't think that affected the behavior, or that was it might have just been not obvious at the time, and so there's clearly like a new addition to the docs that needs to happen for that platform that can just help guide people. But did anyone, and I guess it's kind of interesting that so a nod as you go to work to convert Meshery CTL from Bash to Go, that last bit that you're working on it are the pre-flight checks, and there's really, I think, just two checks. One is to yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think just it's a bit also from my side. I'm really sorry. Just we had come this EKS depreciation for 1.10. That's why I needed to kind of wrap up all the environments upgrade. That's why this week was kind of a bit tough. So, but definitely I asked it Nand also to install. I guess he couldn't run it, so probably we'll have also one-on-one meeting with him to go through it. So, but like, yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, actually, the Meshery is running, and I'm going through the Cobra documentation.
Did you manage to run through Meshery CTL? That's
no, I didn't. I was trying to run it. Actually, I was going to ask you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's set some time that for the, I don't know, like, are you available for the weekends? Oh, because the time zone, if you just send me the time zone and your availability, and we can try to sync up on
yeah, yeah, sure.
You know, actually, there's a bunch of other things that we can talk about and some different design specs to go over and etc. But I don't know that this isn't maybe more important, like, because you guys are both on the call right now, and actually it's just, it's just the four of us. If you guys want to, we can switch, we can kind of, I don't know if you guys want to do that now, or if you guys really do want to spend some time separately, but I thought I'd offer it up.
Sure. Yeah, the time is fine now too, so.
Okay. Then I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. I'm gonna go take some notes and follow up on some things with Nuno, if you guys want to. Basically, it's the conversion of the last bits of Meshery the pre-flight checks, which is curl, I think, and Docker Compose, which was in part. This is why I brought it up. Was Nuno had said that it wasn't that it seemed like when he was trying to run Meshery, maybe it wasn't telling him that Docker Compose was needed, but that is a pre-flight check, so I'm not sure if that's what he was saying, or if he was saying Meshery was identifying that and he didn't have it in his environment, and so that's why he stumbled at first.
So yeah, he can share the screen and try to see, and we can cache. There is a cache for the error. I will need to check that one for the player side. You are saying it's really not a big thing, that in case I can have a look, because just maybe it's not explicit when throwing error, but definitely for each step there is error part that can just make it more explicit what exactly the issue running. Yeah, I will have a close look. That
Yeah, very good. I think we ended up highlighting more or less like the pre-flight check, to your point that.
Sure, I just so that Alan can just it's a good starting task.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll ramp up this week, this weekend, in case together I will just to speed up, and then probably he can help in the rest of the stuff.
Nice.
If
Okay.
yeah, I feel like it's becoming time critical. We want to kind
Or-
of to make it available, and I will put some initial draft documentation, all this stuff that maybe can help for the newcomers.
Nice. Nice. Very good. Yeah. Actually, Nuno may be your first customer there because he needs to upgrade Meshery. He's running an older version.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's. I guess it's maybe also Chris can confirm. It shouldn't be too much difference for the Windows, yeah, if running the co-binary and stuff. For Windows, because
Um,
I'm not
so
available.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, one thing is that we are at the moment we are not creating binaries. So I mean, the code is those, if you have a Windows environment and you can compile it, I'm pretty sure like that will actually work. I'm pretty sure like we're not using anything that's specific to Linux or any Nix environment like Linux or Mac. So I'm pretty sure like it's going to work. Like, and even the interactions with Kubernetes like are actually done using the proper Kubernetes libraries. So and those again are like are not like based on an operating system. So they should work as well without any issues. So I mean like so in general like if your question is about building and running on Windows, I'm pretty sure it'll work. But if you have a Windows and like Nuno showed, if you have WSL, that's perfect because that's essentially Linux. So you can actually, I mean, it's just as good as like running it on any other machine. Like I mean, because most of the demos like we've been showing are from either a Mac or a Linux environment. This is kind of like what we've been using. So what Nuno actually showed is actually from a Windows with WSL. That was pretty impressive. Like I mean, so we had a very detailed chat at KubeCon, and he was running into some issues. I tried to help him get over them at that point in time. So I mean, well, what that proves to us is that if you have WSL2 on Windows, then you're good to go. Like I mean, it'll just work. It's kind of like what I'm saying. The only challenge with having WSL2 and running Meshery is the resource consumption, which means um, if you have, I mean, so one thing to note here is like Nuno has a very powerful mission. I was surprised too, when I saw his laptop, I was telling him that hey, okay, you are planning on running a Kubernetes cluster on this mission. You have to be watchful. And he then told me about his mission, and I was like, whoa, okay, I know about it. Also, so he does have a very powerful mission. So if you don't have a very powerful mission, then running Linux, and you're running Windows, and then if you try to run WSL on top of it, then what Nuno actually showed was very good in the sense he's using K3S, which is very lightweight for Kubernetes. So yeah, I think that will actually be a good approach rather than a virtual box or like essentially what is that tool? I forgot which uses VirtualBox. The Minikube, yeah. So Minikube is pretty heavy because you do need a reasonably sized virtual machine to run it. So if your host operating system is not that, sorry, your host mission is not that powerful, then Nuno's route would actually be a decent one. Like having a WSL with K3S and then having Meshery run in it, like would be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah, at least if any issue, I guess he's a good user. He can we can ask him to try, and he will let us know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And most probably I will also continue with EKS one, the testing, because I guess GKE the cost is going a bit higher when I run it. That's why. But at least in case if you have any big changes, I will just bring the GKE and test and turn it off. So just it's good.
Yeah.
Different environments.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. That's a popular environment. I mean, yeah. Okay, well, it sounds like as you and as Sako and Anad, as you guys go to find that time together, is there anything else that we should chat about on Meshery CTL right now?
So I guess it's gonna be the next step when we want directly to talk to API. At this point, this pre-check and for my side, the Meshery CTL config file, make it editable like kubectl and maybe some a bit architectural stuff, trying to bring around and document. That's like next step, and then we can more discuss on how to make it from UI independent to run this.
Right.
That's I guess, yeah.
Well, so on that, that's a great point. I actually, Garish, we're missing a design doc there, I think, in terms of CLI to API.
Sure, actually, that would be a decent item to actually take on next. So I'll see if I can start working on a design doc, and then if if we prioritize that, like I'll start working on that. Otherwise, like I'll prioritize. I mean, or anybody else can actually take it. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Like the only changes would probably be in Meshery. But then the authentication layer will have to be changed. So that will be an interesting one to actually work on.
So Grish, I guess if you get time, also probably next week on Monday or something, that we can start, because my workload from the next week I expect to be stabilized, so I'll be able to
Cool. Yeah, awesome, dude.
Yeah, do it. I'm really sorry for the past week. It's just suddenly came out there, and we were staying till 3 a.m. and doing stuff that.
Wow.
Because the EKS just they announced 110 is depreciating, and they released 113 in 11 of June, so we already moved more than half of the clusters.
Wow.
They were kind of challenging. So it's also good experience-wise to see that all this going deep into Kubernetes functionality, that some stuff not needed in normal day that you don't dig into, but yeah. Hopefully we can all these will be helpful also in Meshery.
Yeah, right. By the way, did you say that was in GKE or EKS?
It's EKS. They depreciated 1.10 Kubernetes, and they released in 11 of June 11.13. So you need to migrate all the clusters because from 10th of July they don't support 110.
Yep.
10th of June. July, sorry, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's Meshery CTL. Yeah, Garish, I do consider that just a quick outline for authentication as it would be done inside of Meshery is probably necessary for you to outline. The other half of it, though, the client side of Meshery CTL, sounds like Sako, you can. Maybe you may want to outline that in the same doc, but Sako, that's in your court.
Yep.
And then in Anad's court is the pre-flight checks and the conversion of the pre-flight checks to check for curl or wget or Docker Compose, or right now I think it's just those three. If it is the case that Nuno's work shows that Meshery needs to be environment aware, like in the case of WSL2, then that might be part of the pre-flight check as well, but right now it doesn't seem to be the case. It might help a little bit in that I think the default instructions for Meshery, the bash script, says, open up localhost at port 9081. And I don't think that localhost is gonna, work. It didn't work for Nuno. He had to go and find out what his ETH0 is. I don't know if that was Docker, same thing as Docker 0, or if that was ETH0, but.
No, I think that was his WSL environment.
Okay.
Because it's actually, I think, running in a virtual machine fundamentally. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just like, like Mac, pretty much.
Got it. Okay. So it was his ETH0. Okay. So I mean that would be that's maybe something to write down as a nice to have.
So he's morely interested in contributing to the project, like, or just more user side?
That's a good question. I had anticipated it was maybe more from the user side. That of the blog post that he was is gonna write up is probably from a user's perspective, using some cutting edge technology, WSL, the Windows Linux subsystem, Windows subsystem for Linux 2, and then to explain Meshery a bit and how you can use it in that environment, some of his experience. I think it's probably more from a user perspective, although I would say, I don't know that programming is, that he's software engineering is his focus. So I don't know how much you would.
Sure.
But yeah.
How about the flow? By the way, congratulations for the machines we have. They approved
Oh yeah.
SNCF. So, is there any?
Yeah. So the update there is that they are more or less waiting on us, is what I would say, or that they are ready to. They've sent an invite to Packet's provisioning system, or bare metal interface system. I was conversing with. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Rob Hirschfeld here in Austin. He focuses a lot on bare metal provisioning, and I don't believe that the Packet systems are going to. They may lay down the OS. Whether they do or don't, we could still use some assistance on the provisioning of Kubernetes, even though that can be scripted relatively easily. I think it's an opportunity for this other guy, Rob, to jump in and show off some of his utilities and assist with the testing. Pratik isn't on today and hasn't been on the last couple of times because he's got a new internship, and so I think so he's got ongoing conflict at this hour. So it's we need to do two things. I think confirm with them that we would ideally have the 20 nodes for about a week to maybe 2 weeks. We need to harden the test plan and socialize some additional input from the stakeholder projects in terms of what config we would use, because there's so many variables and choices on what requests per second should we blast at it, what sample app should we use, and that actually might be one of our bigger choices, bigger things to decide, is what application to test against. And so of what we've done in the past, it was HTTP bin as a very simple service, but that's not as interesting to most, I think, as as a multi-service application.
Book info.
Yeah. So I don't have a specific date other than to say these are some of the tasks that lay out before us. I think that Nuno captured it well, that there's value in this test as versus what Kinvolk had done with Linkerd. There's even more value than I think that he's aware of, because there's additional. We're going to run some different tests using different load balancers, hopefully. Also, maybe hitting a fourth load balancer. I'm sorry, a fourth service mesh, Octarine, because their initial adapter landed. It's I think it's like 95% complete. There's a couple of rough edges, but it's possible to include that. So yes, Garish, you do hear me saying one thing that would be nice, that would make for a nice piece here of research, is the difference between Fort.io and WRK2. Or even if it wasn't that, it would just be WRK2 with without coordinated, whatever that is.
A coordinated omission.
Yeah. Yeah, coordinated revision. Yeah,
Sorry.
thanks. Just yeah, coordinated revision. Anyway, with that and without that. So yeah, Sako. Hopefully it helps. I mean, we haven't spent enough time to get it over the hump. But that's in part why I didn't request the access before, because I know that all of us have got other day jobs going on, and yeah, it's a blessing to be able to use that. So yeah, I do want to take advantage of it very well. At least the network service mesh team did express a comment or two in the ticket, which is there. So other than this, Garish, do you want to show the node metric collection that you've been busy on?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So the context of what Garish is going to show is that to date, Meshery's been collecting statistics from the load generator, so both latency and throughput statistics, and that's what people have been seeing graphed. It's also then been connecting to Grafana and consequently through Grafana to Prometheus metrics, so that you can see them both, node metrics and service metrics. But the way in which that had been done had one been dependent upon Grafana, two been done in different charts. So last week we showed those being done in the same charts, but three. So Meshery wasn't going after Prometheus directly. So it is now going after Prometheus directly. We do have them in some of the same charts or the same type of charts, so you can compare much more easily. And then lastly, the last bit that Garish is working on is what's more or less like the service mesh performance benchmark spec. The spec that we talked about in the past, that's a set of YAML that says, here's the test that was run, here's the mesh and all of its config, and then here's the results. And so he's working on collecting those results to persist them and store them. So Garish, I was just buying time until you shared your screen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just restarting the SAS piece just a few seconds back, so I just had to grab my phone.
Okay.
So, all right. So I'm going to try to share my screen. I'm pretty sure it's going to ask me to log in, but let's see.
Simply for the SNCF one, for the test cases, maybe we can start also playbook, like if Pratik even doesn't have too much time to do in real time, maybe the preliminary test steps that basically any of us should be able to run just to...
Yes. Totally.
Not just to develop use case when we get access. Maybe.
Totally. Yeah, you're right. That should be a prerequisite to us accepting the time on a cluster. Like we should have that playbook, that document in hand, the test plan in hand before we start the clock ticking on the cluster.
Because for the hardware part especially, I guess we need more Pratik support. What exactly the changes that you would like, as a kind of more, I guess the target is come up with some article or paper out of this.
Yep. A couple of them, I think, one being academic in nature. Well, they're both somewhat academic, but one being published on the CNCF, one being published on Layer 5, and another being probably an academic research paper for him, for the project.
Alright guys, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So I just logged into Meshery and I'm at the performance page, and this is like there's nothing new here. So if you can see here, like now that this is kind of the usual section to actually accept the parameters for running the load test and the graph, which is ready to chart out the results after the tests are run. One thing, again, like, it's still like a work in progress, is that so last week I think I might have showed the integration with Grafana and Prometheus charts, but not using them on Meshery, like, no, but rather using custom charts because it gave a lot of performance improvements, and also like they were the interaction itself is much better, and things like that. Plus, like if you zoom into one chart, like it'll actually zoom all the charts. So I've tried to kind of bring all those capabilities. And one of the things which was done is the integration with Prometheus directly. So once connection with Prometheus is established, you'll be taken to a page where it'll be ready to take a Grafana JSON from which you can actually parse, create charts, and talk to Prometheus directly. Now here, this is something which I've already shown, so I'm not going to try taking more time here, but rather, again, user experience eventually will need to be improved. So now the point is that now Meshery is connected to Prometheus. Now, once you connect Meshery to Prometheus, and if you come back to the performance page, you'll see a new section show up, like it's called the server metrics now. Yeah, so this title, like I'm still working on it, but if you expand it, it'll actually show a pre-configured set of metrics. Now, the metrics here I'm using are actually sample ones, so these are not going to be like the real-time ones. Once I commit them, I just chose like a decent chart, like a bunch of charts like which have been working well for my test cases. So which is the reason why I have it here. So you can see that I have not usually. So the way we get the charts working is actually by configuring them in Meshery. But now you can see I've not configured anything except I just connected with Prometheus. Once a connection with Prometheus is established, it will, so this Meshery's performance page will actually load a pre-configured bunch of dashboards or a pre-configured dashboard with a bunch of charts, and you can see all the metrics. Now, the interesting thing here is that when I run a load test, unfortunately, I don't have much to show today, but the thing is, what is functional is that once I run a load test, I hit run, it'll run the load test, the results will come back, but actually behind the screen, there are two things that are happening. One is the results will actually be persisted, and then I have an asynchronous job queue, which will actually take the collected metrics from this dashboard. But the thing is, it will not collect it right now. It will only collect for the duration of the test, and then it'll also be persisted. So if I can actually show the at least the load test performing as normal, I can actually show that. Like I'll leave it running for 30 seconds. Technically, it should work. So 30 seconds, and in 30 seconds, so you can see all these charts continue to work without any issues. But what I've done is to all these charts, I've appended an extra field which is actually a UID for the test. So every test will actually now be associated with the UID, and all the charts, which are the pre-configured ones here, are now actually sending that UID to Meshery. When Meshery sees that, it actually persists the data. Now you can see the charts just work. This part just work fine. The charts here seem to continue to work fine without any issues. But behind the screen, there's a background job. What it does is right after the test completes, it actually captures the starting time, ending time, and the duration with extra step parameters. And based on the granularity, it actually sends each of the metric that these charts are collecting, constructs a query, sends it to Prometheus, collects the data for each of the metrics. So for example, for all the charts you're seeing here, that's roughly about 23 to 25 metrics that are being sent to Prometheus and collected back by Meshery, and right now they just persisted. So this is the background part. Now the other part, to this story, this is kind of a big achievement. Now the other side of the story is actually now getting those results and then presenting it when people want to compare them. Because right now our comparison is only the client-side metrics comparison. So now we will also be able to do not just client-side metrics comparison, but also server-side metrics comparison based on all these pre-configured boards. So that's kind of where we're going. That's going to be a harder story to actually accomplish, but at least over a period of time, we will definitely have some progress in this direction, as we'll initially start showing probably just the percentiles of the different runs, on the server-side metrics, and eventually maybe we'll also have some nice interactions wherein people can kind of have a visual way of comparing not just the client-side metrics but also the server-side metrics. So so yeah, so this is actually the piece that I was working on this week. The other piece, I did some cleanup. I know last week's demo was pretty sharp. So all these titles, I was leveraging the chart titles. So now this week I put all these charts in their own containers. You can see, a container now hosting this, and pretty much another nice to have is okay, now the chart is kind of tiny here. So if you wanted to have a bigger view of it, I've kind of tried to bring in this capability where once you click on it, it'll actually blow up the chart, and you can actually have a better look at it. And of course, the time filters and everything are persisted, so you can actually see it. And I think one thing I've not shown in the last week is actually the zooming capability. So which is so it's a scroll zoom or a pinch zoom. So so right now on my touchpad, if I actually kind of zoom, you can see the time window change. And once the time window on one chart change, you can see all the charts have synchronously updated their time window. So for the same time window, all the charts are actually showing the metrics. So that's one thing. And also here you can it went to a fixed mode from 354 to 355. So that's the zooming capability. I think I also have a panning capability, so you can see that I can drag the chart to the left, and what it'll do is it'll update the time metrics here, and then it'll make calls to Prometheus to get the data and update the charts accordingly. So you can see the time window change as well. So yeah, so these are all the chart enhancements we have done pretty much in the last month. I've just been trying to clean them up, whenever I see some some weirdities. So now it's much better than what it used to be earlier. So again, if you want to revert it, you just have to click a different window and you'll be back on track. So the difference is you can now on this page you can have the static charts, which are pre-configured. You don't have to configure it. And then beneath this, you will actually see the charts you will be configuring, either with Prometheus or with Grafana, or both. I mean, if you guys want that. Which is so for example, so if you go here, if you connect with Grafana and then configure the charts, those will also show up. And again, same here. If you actually import boards here, and add the Prometheus boards, those will also show up. So in the performance page, you'll be seeing 3 collections of charts, which is the server metrics, Grafana metrics, and the Prometheus metrics. So and I mean pretty much giving the end user way more flexibility, providing some initial charts to actually start with. So that's pretty much all I have to show.
Thank you, Dave. Nice work. Actually, this in the graph there was Galley version. Are these kind of defined from the Prometheus, or
these are defined in Grafana actually?
In Grafana?
Yeah, these are defined in Grafana. Yeah. But here in this one context, like I said, I mean I'm just using these as examples. But these are, these are loaded from a static configuration, so it's not from Grafana. You can see, at the moment, I have not connected Meshery to Grafana. I only connected it to Prometheus. So the reason why you're seeing the charts there is, in Meshery on the server side, now we are loading a static configuration, which contains a collection of panels with all the metrics that the panels will show. And now what these charts will do is now these charts will be rendered based on those specifications, and they also have, as part of the specification, there's also the query that will be called or used to call Prometheus with in order to fetch data, and when the data comes back, it'll actually be charted out. So that's what it is. So these are static charts, but we are pretty much trying to leverage a similar behavior as that of the file.
So Grafana, I assume that it was talking to API server directly and getting all the metrics. Now kind of Meshery can do without Grafana.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So so no more need for Grafana. Just Prometheus is good. It's much more performant, and also earlier, like, I mean, we were embedding the Grafana charts. So the experience was a bit crappier because each chart was actually in its own iframe. So if you had 20 charts, like, so you literally had 20 iframes. If you had 100 charts, that's 100 iframes. And again, the interactions between them will not work because each one is an iframe. So if you zoom one, it's not going to be like reflected on the others, and so on and so forth. So, and also, like, if you hover, you'll if the tooltips are big, you'll see the tooltips getting cut off because iframe would not allow it to come out. So all these weirdities were there. Fundamentally, the experience itself, the page will become really heavy. And if you just have 10 charts, like, you'll see when you try to scroll, the page will actually start lagging because it's really heavy. Now it's not because it's much faster. And also earlier the calls were directly going to Grafana from the UI. Now it's going through. We have a sort of a proxy in Meshery, which will kind of communicate with Grafana or Prometheus, which makes communication like much safer actually, and also faster in some ways. So, yeah.
Where this is, so not only, so for all of those points, this is good, but where Meshery actually is slightly differentiated from I think anything else that I've seen, is its ability to leverage your investment in Grafana, allowing you to read in your existing dashboards and conveniently pull over the def. Something that you've already spent time on building out dashboards, you can just import those in and not have to bear the cost of the overhead of having Grafana, but benefit from your investment. So kind of neat. That bit. The rest of it's like, yeah, it's all right. No, yeah.
I think down on the road, you can also maybe look at like Datadog and stuff, like not just showing Meshery, maybe just pushing to the API.
Yeah.
That's kind of existing infrastructure that they do the test and part of the pipeline.
That's a good point. Yep. Like particularly to the extent that people may run Meshery on an ongoing basis to do performance tests, and that they want to see the performance statistics in terms of like regression tests on a per release basis or something, to be able to view that not only in context of what Meshery itself is collecting, but maybe the rest of their monitoring infrastructure is. So, yeah.
Preset panels in Datadog or something that just getting this and pushing it. Yeah, that's good extent.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know how comical your suggestion is. It's Greece, what kind of what's that logo on your shirt over there? Is it well, is that a? That's a. Anyway, if that's not recognizable, first of all, I wouldn't expect that that's recognizable, although it should be. Just as you might expect a purple dog to be recognizable. But anyway, a bunch of inside jokes. Point is, we're wrapping up for today. Anand, sounds like you and Sako will probably find some time this weekend or early next week. I'm gonna.
I guess can you Anand share the screen and stuff, because I guess you have low internet connection, or what's the best way like you would like to have as a question, or that's because I feel like yes.
Skype.
At this time, or
Hello. Am I audible?